Hey, an amazing thing happened the other day. I was playing basketball with my son. I shot 138,000 times. And can you believe it? I made every shot. I should run for president as a Democrat. Hey, all kidding aside, seriously, we need to just go ahead and call this thing. Otherwise, Joe Biden, he's going to forget what he's waiting for. And he might do something really ginchy like declare himself the winner over George Bush. Okay, the jokes are done. This isn't over yet. If you're like me, you have friends, even some who claim to be Republican, who are telling us, come on, it's time for us to put our big boy pants on. The president just needs to concede. Really? In fact, news outlets led by Fox News, Faux Pas News, now the new king of fake news, and I have told you and told you and told you, and I will now tell you again. Why? Because I like hearing the sound of my voice being right. They have never been a conservative media outlet. They have always been controlled opposition. Five-line Hannity saying the same five things over and over, appearing to represent what we consider to hold near and dear. Case in point, he had Lindsey Graham on the other night. You know, John McCain's special friend. Lindsey Graham, who flips and flops and flips and flops. The only area where Lindsey Graham was halfway helpful to us was he did work as a catalyst to get the confirmation of Justice Kavanaugh. That said, he fought Trump on military withdrawal. He fought Trump on ending these endless wars. He comes out on Hannity the other night to thank President Trump for his support in getting him reelected and the overwhelming support that he received from his conservative base in North Carolina. And then he pledged on Sean Hannity's show to give $500,000 to the President Trump legal defense with these ongoing lawsuits regarding voter fraud. And then the next day, the day after, just not even 24 hours after he said, we're going to stand with our president and fight for him because he stood with me and he fought for me. And then not even 24 hours later, he said, if Joe Biden becomes president-elect, I'm ready to work with him. What? Do you understand? This is the swamp. This is what real conservatives voted against. They're having these introspective talks now. The media is policing itself. They don't want the police to police themselves. No. We have to have outside groups come in and police the police now if we're going to have real justice and real change. Well, how about the media put together a group of people like us and let us tell them what they're doing wrong if they really want to regain our respect? So the media, they're having this introspective moment now themselves with the pollsters. And what is it about the Trump voters that we just don't understand? They did come out in more numbers than we thought. Well, first of all, they're not really being introspective. That's just smoke and mirrors. It's a dog and pony show so they can keep their jobs. Number two, they purposely skewed the polls because they were trying to create a momentum for Biden that was just never there. But let me tell you what the Trump voter is. The Trump voter is someone who felt like they were forgotten. The traditional values, I want to work, I want to be able to pay my bills, I want to mind my own business, and I want to be left alone. That's the Trump supporter. We're not racist loons, we're not anarchists, although that is now the way we are going to be portrayed during this time of waiting to see what's going to happen.
These convoys that we saw in the run-up to the election, what I'm most concerned about is
convoys, you mean?
These ISIS-like Trump convoys of,
trucks
100, 200 trucks out there. What happens when somebody says, we don't recognize Joe Biden's election,
exactly.
and those convoys become armed convoys and they start blocking highways.
They're not now?
Not yet.
They must have us confused with the left because it's the left that is mob rule. Can you imagine if Joe Biden becomes the asterisk president and that's all his presidency would be? Can you imagine if Joe Biden becomes the asterisk president? Anytime any group within leftist ideology feels like they're not getting their way, that they're not being heard, that we're not giving in to whatever their lunatic agenda is, whether it's we need to change the founding of our country to coincide with slavery or to take down all of the statues of our founding fathers, burn, shred, desecrate the Constitution, etc., etc., etc. These people take to the streets, they throw rocks, they loot, they burn, they pillage, they destroy. And does Joe Biden really have the cojones to put a stop to it? No. He'll dialogue with them, and then he'll give in to them. You know, he talks about Trump didn't know how to handle North Korea. Why? Because he didn't do what you and Obama did. You know, we didn't put money on a plane and just send it to him like we do all rogue regimes under a globalist-type presidential administration. No. Donald Trump didn't pay him. He stood up to him. Now, he tried to wow him with a little bit of the, let me pour on the compliments, let me wine you, dine you a little bit. But he was also ready to go toe-to-toe with him militarily if that's what it took. But he certainly wasn't going to bribe him and try to pay him off. Biden will give in to every fringe group, mark it down. And so now, anybody, you hear what they were saying on Bill Maher's show. Anybody that's remotely patriotic, anybody that's remotely traditional, we're a paramilitary organization now. In other words, we're going to be deemed as terrorists. Yeah, that's what's coming under a Biden administration. That's what's coming. And even though Joe Biden himself might not feel that way, because he doesn't really know what he feels, because he doesn't really know what day of the week it is. And by the way, Joe, you better start sleeping with one eye open, because if you actually do become the president-elect, you better understand that Kamala's got plans. Pelosi's got plans. You're going to get 25th Amendment right out of there. You know that, right? You got that, right? Yeah, okay. That said, we're now going to be the enemy. And yet, we're even being told by some moderate Republicans and Fox News, there's no proof of fraud in this election. Just put the big boy pants on. No proof? Well, what do we have here? We have a video of a woman caught filling out blank ballots for Biden. Immediately, I got fact-checked by Facebook and was told, no. What was happening there, she was actually just taking information off of damaged ballots and transferring it to a fresh ballot so it could be counted. Oh, really? Then, at best, what I was witnessing then was what? A seriously breached system. Because when you have a damaged ballot, that's when it has to be verified by more than just one person. And it's usually a Republican and a Democrat, so that there's at least two other sets of eyes on it that watch the process of a new ballot being created so that the integrity of the vote and the voter is ensured. One person sitting there by themselves, bad system. But the thing was, she wasn't copying anything. She wasn't looking at one ballot, transferring information, setting this ballot now in the good pile, and then destroying the bad ballot. No. She just had a stack of blank ballots. And she was stamping it as received, filling it out, putting it over here. Stamping it as received, filling it out, putting it over here. She was making up ballots. And she got caught. Period. We now have the fact that the state of Wisconsin will go into a recount. The Secretary of State for Georgia has said Georgia's going to go into a recount. We now have a county in Michigan where there was a computer glitch with the software and it accidentally turned 6,000 Trump votes into 6,000 Biden votes. Well, shazam, Batman. What a mistake. And of course, it only happened there in that one county in Michigan. Yeah. So they've now been flipped back to Trump, but it's changed Joe's numbers a little bit in Michigan. The entire state of Michigan is going to get recounted. And my guess is under a group of federal inspectors. And Supreme Court Justice Alito has stepped in and told Pennsylvania, you're going to take all of the mail-in ballots that you received after the election, you're going to separate them, segregate them, and secure them. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Can we say Pennsylvania is also heading for a recount under federal inspection? This isn't over yet. Don't be faint-hearted. Don't give up. Don't lose the faith. It's not done yet. Hey, that's it for my Saturday rant. Thank you so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and a like. Make sure you smack the bell and click the word all to get notification of my next rant.